watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Right, Chris.
All right, good evening. Welcome along to LTID TV 2, or as we like to call it, LTI TV BE or +1 or whatever one of those we think we can get away with. But it's nice to be here because yes, I got my bottom slapped again today. Now I must admit, there's nothing wrong with having your bottom slapped every now and again. Just ask my guest this evening. But now I was a little bit apparently naughty with YouTube again, so I was off the naughty step for 24 hours, and here I am back again. So it'll probably be one man and his dog. Or sheep, because Mike's in. Good evening, Mike. But look, we'll at least we can do this, as I can't do it on my channel, so it's all good fun. Look, this is, though, LTID TV, the quiz channel. Do subscribe to both of our channels, please. It really does help us both, and, of course, we are trying to grow this as well, so it'll actually be quite interesting to see how it goes. And LTID TV, look, we are on all of that you can see there. And that one which is just, where are we? Just there. God, I can smell my armpit. It's horrible. But that one that you can see just there, Talk TV. If you go on to LTID TV, the main channel, search under the pick, which is one of the first playlists, and you will see it's me talking to Mark Saggers on Talk LTI on Talk TV last week about pre-season friendlies abroad, and I'm going to say hello to Mike. No, your comment didn't post, Mike, but it's very good for you to join us. He lived it with me this morning. I see you've had a few changes to your own channel, mate. Not sure how. I've not watched it yet. I just saw it before I came in here. But good luck with all of that as well. Let me just. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. You see, I'm just not set up on it. I'm in like a daze here because everything's there, but it's all the wrong bits. So you know what it's like. If you end up touching the wrong bits, you get yourself into trouble. But yeah, that is where you can find us. We are all over internet as well, and all over the social media. And I better get on because I've got absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But look, I have been clinging on to the Premier League by my fingernails. With earlier, a few days ago, I did the shirt show with Doug on his channel. But reality strikes. And to be honest with you, if we play anything like we played today against Liverpool, I'm bloody glad we're not in the Premier League, because we would have taken a bit of a walloping. But talking about taking a bit of a walloping, this guy knows all about that. Evening, Kate. Let's bring him in now. My old adversary, Dan, the Burnley fan. How are you, sir?
I'm all right. No beatings today. I think I get a day off on Sundays to recover. So yeah, all is well.
Oh, I've been told you enjoy it, but who am I to question it? You know, as long as she lets you out for the shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Remembering not to put your arm up because the
Definitely.
attached.
Definitely. If you wonder why I'm sat up so high and half my head's off the screen, it's because I'm sat on a rubber ring because it hurts to sit down.
Well, you've got to be careful with your rings, haven't you, mate?
Oh, you do indeed.
You're doing it. But look, thank you for coming on.
Thanks
TurfMoorhouse
for having me.
TV, as you can see there. The link, as always, is in the description because he's a good friend of the channel, and I still made a promise to his mother that I would look after him. How is she?
She's all right, yeah. She's not too bad. She's been decorating the front room, decorating the living room. So
I used to hate it when she used to say to me, she said, Chris, can't
decorators.
the decorators are in. do say
that one will come in
for me. Joining in the comments, though, as we go through, as we are doing the championship review. I put review, but it should be preview. Just shows what the bloody hell it's going like today. But gonna end up. Does that sound right? But I have no idea, to be honest with you, because I don't know the teams, and I purely would be guessing. But you know it all because you were there last season, mate, and you stormed the division.
We did really, really well. Even I, as a Burnley supporter, and a lot of other Burnley fans, we didn't expect the season that we had. It was so surreal to even have a moment like that. But we did. It was enjoyable. It was a lovely ride to be on. I'll say it now. I'm going to miss the championship.
Kate, or the football season.
The football season. I mean, I was going to say, Kate's not a bad ride either to get myself out of that. But then
no, I think you just dig yourself further in.
Yeah, Chris, you set me up for him, and I'm like, what do I say? To be honest, no, it is a really good league, to be honest. And if anything, I'd probably say it's a lot more competitive than the Premier League. Because once you get in it, it is hard to get back out, and there's not many teams manage to go down and come back up. So, so yeah, I'm looking forward to obviously seeing what some of the clubs that have gone down can do. Like I said, the likes of yourselves, Leeds and Southampton. Can any of the three that went down emulate what we did?
Well, we're going to find out what you think in a minute because we're going to go through the league and have a look at your positions. Whatever I say is wrong, isn't it?
There's a book written about that.
There is, isn't there? No, I can't. I'm not known. Control yourself, Chris. But yeah, and I'm going to say, like I say, well done. I mean, everybody is, and we'll come on to what your predictions are in a minute, but everybody sort of said, oh, Leicester are going to go up. Leicester are going to be champions. You know, all the betting companies have got, Leicester, Southampton, Leeds to be the three that go back up. And I think, well, first of all, it's very disrespectful to the other 20-odd teams that are in that division, are trying to get out of it, that are used to it. But also, I think what you did last season, and I say, well, it was great. It was great for you to have that season. But it's put a hell of a lot of pressure on us because everybody's looking at us and going, oh, new manager, got rid of a load of players you didn't need, brought a lot of new players in. Yeah, that's what Burnley did. Look what happened to them. So no pressure on us, thank you very much.
No, it's a daunting challenge because you've obviously gone and got somebody from a Manchester City background as well. So people then start to put two and two together and hope that you get in that sort of, that anybody that's worked under Pep is seen to going to come in and do a job like Pep. Yeah. It's these people will have their own philosophies, their own styles. Just because they, as a coach, are told, I need you to work it this way because this is how I effectively want the team to work. Yeah. He's his own man now. Is it Maresca, the manager?
Yeah, Enzo. Yeah. We call him. It's easier.
Enzo. Yeah, that's definitely easier. Yeah. Especially for me, it's only a pizza place down the road. But but yeah, it's he looks like he's come here with good caliber from, like you say, from a really good club. And who knows? Again, these managers came in. John Dalton for Blackburn last season. They started off really well. You just need to keep that trail going if it does.
We do definitely. But I'm very much like you. I believe, if my memory serves me right, and I'm old, so it doesn't always. I'm lucky if I can remember where the toilet is, but then you've got that problem at your age. If I remember rightly, you said at this time last season, and I completely agree with it now. I don't care if we don't come straight back up, because what I don't want to do is do a Norwich and come up for one season, then go back down, and then come. There's Dan's frozen. Dan, I think is frozen, or is he either that or he's where he's winding me up.
No, it had froze, but it showed
Okay.
it showed the internet at the side. It had gone all funny, and so I
That was very
apologize
scary
for
because
that.
all I got was a picture of you with this big smile on your face, and I'm thinking, what's he gone off to do?
Just gonna scratch that itch.
Yeah, but no, look, I don't want to become a Norwich or dare I say, a Watford, where we come up, go down, come up, go down. And if
Yeah.
we don't go up this season, but it means that when we go up, we'll be stronger, I'd sooner do that. And I think that's what you were saying last season, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think when Company came in as manager, it was, to come in with a 2 to 3 year plan before promotion.
Yeah.
So to go up at the first time of asking, it's one of them where we've ran before we could walk, in terms of what company wanted to achieve.
Mm.
But it will happen. It's about having the right heads in at the right time. When all your chips were down after relegation, you've got to pick out the ones now that not to blame as such, but the ones maybe unsettling the dressing room, the ones that seem to think that they have a big say on things.
Well, as they
Coming from
say,
that pet background, I think Enzo won't take any crap, and
no,
he'll be he'll
we had
set the gauntlet for
Vestergaard
him.
on today, God help us. But in fairness, Vestergaard had a good game. He had a decent
Yeah,
game. Yes, we lost 4-0. It was a mad 18 minutes. Up until that point, we were playing real. And I'm thinking, like, wow. Indeedy was like, welcome back, Indeedy. Where the hell have
yeah,
you been? Because this is like the Ndidi that we got in that we said was the new Kante. And suddenly you're back and it's fantastic. And Vestergaard had an all right game, in fairness. And that's it. Sometimes players that the bell end from before could not get a tune out of, the new guy comes in and he can. But we'll see. We'll see. Fingers crossed. But let's get into this. 3 went down last season. Really quite well. I think Wigan were cut adrift quite early on, can't they?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, Luke's in. Good evening, Luke, and good evening, Coach's Corner. Yeah,
Good evening, everyone.
Wigan were down, but Blackpool and Reading, both of them 5 points behind Cardiff. Were you surprised at those 3 going down?
I was surprised at Blackpool, to be fair. I thought Blackpool would have been able to get themselves out of it a little bit. It was a very tough ask, to be honest with you, for Blackpool, with everything on the pitch. I don't think Mick McCarthy was the right appointment at that time for them. But they've got Neil Critchley back now, and I'm sure he'll get them back up from League One. And he were doing some good things. Blackpool fans really enjoyed the football under Critchley before he left. And you might see a different philosophy for Blackpool as well, because they were under the Oystons when Critchley was last there.
Yeah.
So obviously Reading, that's a completely different scenario altogether. They took a points deduction due to I think an admin error, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they could have took it next season, but they didn't. They said, no, we'll take it this season. They took the rap on the knuckles, and unfortunately for them, results didn't go their way. And it's strange, really, because where Reading were at the start of the season, they were up there. Paul Ince had them in the playoffs. So, to go from having
That's
those
probably why they
highs,
thought it was safe to take the points deduction this year.
well, yeah. I mean, I'm surprised. That's probably why Paul Ince left. Leave while you're on a high, mate, because that's as good as it's ever got for you in your managerial career. But that said,
Mick McCarthy, though,
just one of
you
them.
mentioned Mick McCarthy. To me, he's always flattered to deceive.
Yeah, a bit like an Alan Pardew.
Yes, very much
He's
so,
almost almost one of those where people go, "Oh, I've got a name coming in," but he's not that big a name to be able to go, "Oh, it's Mick McCarthy. This is going to change our fortunes." I mean, you need someone who's a big personality. Like I say, at Huddersfield, it worked out perfect. Warnock, we all know what he's like, disciplinarian. If you get on the good side of him, he's got an heart of gold and will, work well with you. Mick McCarthy just sounds like this guy who's like, "No, I'm sorry. Once you've finished on the training pitch, can you get yourself off to the sides and take bins out, please?" It is, he don't sound any. He sounds a bit like, I tell you, Pearson. Pearson. But no, I mean in terms of the way he speaks, isn't really. It's just sort of like down, almost like authority style.
Yeah.
But
True says here, have the Oystons sold Blackpool now? Because I can remember
they're gone. Yeah, they're gone.
I obviously was in Blackpool when they sort of took the club over, and I've got a very embarrassing story about the Oystons, but I'm not going to tell it now because I'm not that stupid. It involves girls in bikinis and too much drink, so we'll leave it at that. But those were the three to go down. Now, if the graphics computer is going to work, is working well, and I hope it is. You, like I said, basically, you know the league. I could put them in any order, and I've no idea whether one team's better than the other. You're the one with the expert knowledge, allegedly.
Yeah,
you've got a degree in something or another. I don't know what it is, but look, let's start. And of course, I've got to remember now: 24 teams in this league.
yeah.
And this is who you've got in 24th, Cardiff. And you can see, look at the lovely graphic there. 24th, bottom three relegation. Cardiff City finished 21st last year, but you think they will go down this season?
Yeah, Cardiff for me have had their struggles. They've been under numerous transfer embargoes, and the fan base doesn't like Vincent Tan, the chairman.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there. They want him out. I mean, I'm same as them. I'm asking to, as a ginger, I've wanted a Tan out for years. So they don't have to. They don't have to worry. They've had to bring in free transfers, loan deals because of the way things are. But to be fair, they've done some all right business. Like I say, these, by the way, I will say that I've gone with the same predictions I predicted on my channel very, very early. So there is some that my perception may have changed on, but like I say, it is just a prediction, and it's not going to be the be all and end all. But yeah, Cardiff's prodigal son is back this year as well. Aaron Ramsey has gone back to Cardiff, which is a great show of intent for them. A great player in midfield. They've signed former Chelsea striker Ike Ugbo on loan from Troyes in the French League 2. So yeah, I expect them to try and fight, but the only problem is with Cardiff is they've languished in that area for quite some time over a number of seasons now, and it's the calibre of teams that have come down and that were fighting to get out of the league last year. Cardiff, for me, look like the ones going to be in dire straits.
Yeah. Money for nothing. I mean, Vincent Tan, he took them up to the Premier League. They loved him then, apart from when he tried to obviously introduce the red shirt. But look, you've got them in 24th. Mike says Ramsey, Grant, potentially Kiefer Moore coming in. But he also says Cardiff 24. He says, come on, but they bought well and will finish 16th-ish. But look, it's opinions, Mike. It's opinions. That's what it is. Can I just say thank God that Dan is wearing a white hat, otherwise we wouldn't know where his head was. You've gone very, very dark there.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
It was the dark clouds that are hanging over Burnley.
Have I got a little bit brighter now?
You've got a little bit brighter now, yes. If you didn't smile before, we lost you.
Yeah, I twisted the light bulb in the back of my head a little bit. It was a loose connection.
You don't want to be doing that, mate. Not at your age. So, in 23rd, wow. Now, this surprised me. I'm going to be honest with you. And look how good this supercomputer is here as you go to 23rd. because it adds it to the thing. Oh, this is technology. This is what they want. This is what they pay their license fee for. Sheffield Wednesday 23rd.
Yeah, a good
Although
squad.
they have got managerial problems, haven't they?
Yes, I mean they've got a new manager now. Sorry, Zisco Munoz. I think he was
But it's not
former
ideal when
Watford
you come
manager.
up, though, is it, to be in that?
No, I think there was a lot of turmoil with Chancery and Darren Moore. You know, I think Darren Moore wanted a bit of money to spend upon, coming up, a bit of a bumper contract on promotion as well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Chancery spent half of the time on the interview introducing the new manager, talking about how Darren Moore basically sold the club down the river, even though he got them promoted, and that Carlton Palmer, whether he's a Sheffield Wednesday legend or not, should keep his mouth shut. So, not a great start to the season for them when your chairman's spouting that to a fan base, but they've again had a very good squad. Did very well last season to get promoted. I must say the remarkable turnaround in that playoffs over Peterborough after the first leg was out of this world. And to go to Hillsborough and turn a 4-1 deficit down, is just absolutely, tremendous for them. But I don't think the squad is capable enough of the jump. The thing is, Sheffield Wednesday are like a Watford or a West Brom, to the Championship, or Norwich. Norwich and Premier League, that's too good for the Championship, but crap. So not good enough for the Premier League. And I think Sheffield Wednesday sort of fall into that, like a Wigan. It must be teams in like a sort of blue and white stripes or something. But they've brought 4 signings in. They've brought Reece James in from Blackpool, who's a left back. Ashley Fletcher's coming on loan from Watford this season. They signed a guy called Paul Valentin from Sporting Gijon in La Liga 2, and Pacos Ferreira right back, Juan Delgado has signed as well. So you can see that the foreign manager that's come in is trying to sort of, bring his own style of players in. The only problem you've got is a lot of players at Sheffield Wednesday, like the likes of Barry Bannon, who's been around the club for quite some time. The players of a certain age, and they are going to have to lace the boots up and think, can I now reach that other level after 2 or 3 years in League One? Can I? Yes. They're the ones that are going to be asking the questions about their own bodies with their age they are. So that's another reason why, for me, Sheffield Wednesday will be a team that struggle this year.
Talking about asking about bodies, I've got to say good evening to Kate. Well, Kate, welcome along. It's been a while. Well, you know me, always takes a while. So I'll pop by and say hi. I am extremely well, thank you very much, Kate. I hope you are too, and condolences for your recent news, but hope everything is all right. I'm still following you on TikTok, seeing your little walks. You must be running out of nice places to walk, though, around Burnley by now. Come on, surely. Evening, Kate. True, Sheffield Wednesday, I think, will do pretty well this season, says Luke. Keep key players, get an ex-Watford manager. Well, at least the guy will stay longer, probably, at Sheffield Wednesday. Big Ant's in. Good evening, Ant. How are you? I hope you can get me a ticket in that Bristol City end when we play you, because I don't think I'm going to.
He can't even get his own tickets to Bristol City, the shithouse. So I don't know why.
I'm relying on you. He's putting me up for the night, or is it putting up me? I'm not sure what. Evening, Ant. This is what they want. I'll just wait until after 10 games and see how things are shaping up. That's called a cop-out, Terry. It's called a cop-out. And Mike said, I think Cisco will get Sheffield Wednesday ticking mid-table in his opinion. So welcome along to everybody. So we've done the first. We've got Cardiff City and Sheffield Wednesday now. If you see, I was doing this, and I went. My first championship show was with a Plymouth fan, and unfortunately, I had to put him in the bottom 3, which he wasn't. Well, he understood. But have you got Plymouth in the bottom 3? I want to be honest with you. I can't remember. But you have got. Oh, this is such technology at its best. Look at this. Queen's Park Rangers, who were 20th last season and obviously just avoiding the drop. I thought they'd done quite well last season, and I was surprised when I did look about how low they'd finished.
Yeah, pre-World Cup, things were looking brilliant. I think they were our last game before the World Cup. And to be honest, I sound like Anthony now. To be honest with you, Chris, they just dropped off.
I missed that.
they just dropped off. We beat them at their place, and it just went bobbins after the World Cup. They went from a playoff hopeful to a relegation candidate very, very quickly. The second half of the season really hit them hard, and they're going to have to go again. To be honest, they've signed Asmir Begovic on a free, who was at Everton. Signed Morgan Fox from Stoke on a free transfer. They've not actually paid any money. I tell a lie. Taylor Richards from Brighton is one that they've paid money for, but it's one of those undisclosed fees that we have these days.
Has Big Les gone?
Yes, Les Ferdinand is no longer there as well. He's jumped ship. But it's weird to see QPR as well in that sort of, margin of the league, because it's not so long back they had all this money. Mark Hughes was manager. They had big players coming in. They were in the Premier League, and
they were owned by somebody that had something to do with Formula One, didn't they, or something?
Yeah, it's like I don't know, Berlusconi or something stupid like that. So some foreign name anyway, and it just didn't work out. I think they tried to do a Newcastle too early a little bit, go in there and think that it's just going to work out, but it didn't. Again, this is another one where the decision goes down to the caliber of teams in the division, and QPR being in that position that I've put them. I'm not even the one to say this. Gary Ainsworth, the QPR manager, actually said if we finish 21st this season, he would be still very happy with that position, knowing with the caliber of teams in the division. Your own manager is saying that. Doesn't fill you with much confidence.
No. He obviously went to the Brendan Rodgers School of Diplomacy.
He's got a Gucci belt, though, Chris. He's got a Gucci belt.
Leicester for Life. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on
3 points dropped. 3 points dropped.
Yeah, we're used to that. We'll be talking about that tomorrow night, which will be on this channel as well because of my naughty shenanigans. Katey and Anthony are having a chat together. Luke says, and it's nice to see you, Luke. Thought you'd left us. Gareth Ainsworth, I think, was just the wrong man for QPR. I think he should have stayed at Wickham. Those are the decisions that we make, isn't it? So those are the three that you've got going down. You are impressed by this artwork, aren't you?
I am indeed. Indeed.
I am available for bar mitzvahs, weddings, and christenings. Right, so those are your three to go down. Who just avoids going down by the skin of their teeth? Well, surprise, surprise, surprise. It's Hull, who finished 15th last season. So a big drop there for Hull.
Yeah, this is one that I will hold my hands up. This one and the next one, to be honest. I'd probably say I've got these two wrong. Hull have this habit since the new owners took over that they're spending money, but is the money being used in the right areas? I mean, they started last season really, really well. Ozan Tufan was firing goals in left, right, and centre, but it's whether they can do that again this year. Signing Ruben Vinagre on loan from Sporting Lisbon, or just Sporting, if that's what you want to call them these days. Liam Delap on loan from Manchester City's under-21s. And they've signed two people from the Eredivisie in Holland, and obviously someone Xavier Simons from Chelsea's under-21s as well. It's whether they fit into the system. Like I said, Hull have always had this decent knack of picking out a young player and then coming on to become a bit decent. You know, we saw with the likes of Harry Maguire at the time, ended up going on to big money moves. Andy Robertson now at Liverpool. They seem to have a bit of a success train. My only issue is with Hull is they sort of burn out very quickly. It's almost like you light that candle and everyone's like, oh, brilliant, we're warm. But it starts dying out halfway through the season. If they can get the legs, then I think they should be, I think they will be all right and probably in a better position than what I've put them. But if basing it off last season's viewing, like I said, they seem to burn out and that could cost them.
Well, it could. I think whichever way it's going to be tough, isn't it? I think in fairness, those bottom four, it could be any three from those four, I guess, really, couldn't it?
It could, yeah, it could. Like I say, it's one of them where in football now the divisions are so open that anybody from around 13th to rock bottom could literally change week by week. We saw it with the Premier League. So yeah, the leagues are starting to open up a bit of a gap a little bit. You know, where the bottom half of the table looks more like they're all gunning for relegation, more than just 3 or 4 at the bottom.
Well, that was 21. I've got to say, I probably agree with you because this team reminds me very much from what I know. Like I say, I've not really been following the Championship for obvious reasons, but when Leicester went down to the 3rd tier, we had flirted with it for so many years, and financially we weren't, in the best, most healthy position, that when it came, it was almost like expected, if you like. It was going to happen sooner or later. It's finally happened. But this is the team. I actually had these in the bottom 3, in my bottom 3, and that is Birmingham City, who finished 17th last season.
Yeah, massive loss losing Tahith Chong to Luton, but they got a good form, good 4 million for him, and I think he'll have a tremendous season in the Premier League. However, Birmingham needed to, bring in replacements. Birmingham again have been taken over themselves this year. They've spent quite astutely, brought in Ethan Laird from Manchester United on a permanent. Tyler Roberts from Leeds has come in, and he's still, they've signed players that are still quite young, really. I think the oldest player they've signed is something like 28, which was Keshi Anderson from Blackpool. But they even got him on a free, so it's a no-risk signing for them.
Yeah.
Birmingham, again, are another side who have just been on the cusp a little bit back, like Cardiff, clung on to that Championship tag as a Championship club. But with Birmingham's investment, I think they may do better than where I've put them. However, again, it goes down to how the season pans out, injuries, and even if these new players can slot into the system, like I say, it's all well and good having new owners and having that sense of belief around the place, but then players need to believe in themselves that they can turn Birmingham's fortunes around.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so number 19. It's a bit like the countdown to Christmas, isn't it? Opening all the little doors and finding Jehovah's Witness behind everyone. Anyway, we can't open too many windows. If you do that, your computer shuts down. But at 19, I can't believe that this team, there's so many teams in this division that have in recent years been in the Premier League, and this one could have been there now had it not been for a very dodgy referee and a playoff game. But you've got Huddersfield, 18th last season, 19th this season.
Yeah, this is where I said it gets a bit tricky because now I look at it and I think I would put Birmingham up where Huddersfield are, Hull underneath Birmingham, and Huddersfield just outside the drop zone. Even though they've received a new ownership from an American investor, they've not really done much in the transfer market. They rely very heavily on their midfielder, Jonathan Hogg, who's been around the club for, I think, 10 years this season. So it's almost a big question for Huddersfield. Has Neil Warnock got the cojones to go a full season and still manage to keep them up again? You know, you're asking a big, big task here.
Yeah.
I believe he is the sort of manager, though, that, you know, he's so well loved at Huddersfield. If it goes wrong, it's going to go drastically wrong. But if it goes right, it is going to go perfect. And it's just about finding that balance for Huddersfield. You know, Neil Warnock will know what he needs to do. When he needs to be tough, he'll need to be tough. When he needs to show players love, he'll need to do that. It's going to be a tough one for Huddersfield. And like I say, this is one I could have got wrong and would happily swap with Birmingham and Hull for position-wise.
We don't know. It'd be interesting to come back at the end of the season, and I'll let you know how many you got right. Huddersfield 22nd says Mike, and he thinks Warnock will go in October. Ducky's in. Nathan, how the hell are you, sir? I remember you from Dan's channel when we were both in the same division. I think Leeds
many moons ago. Many moons
ago. Evening chaps, I think Leeds will finish second and Leicester win the league by country mile. I mean, thank you for that. I mean, you know, every time I hear remember that Christmas film, A Wonderful Life? Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings. And I feel like every time somebody says Leicester are going to win it by a country mile, I think that's an extra point for us. I wish I had your confidence. I don't, but I appreciate your trust in us. Thank you very much. Sunderland, Southampton. Yeah, I think I know who Shadsworth is. And pretty much shot in the dark, make playoffs. Yeah, Chadworth, that's not that small team that's just by a Burnley bus stop, is it?
It is the off cut of Darwin, yeah.
Yeah. Accrington's second team. You know?
Yeah, Aki B team.
Yes. Right. 18th. Now, I'm on this channel after this, so say something nice about them that I can use. But in 18th, you've got Stoke City.
Again, another one that like I said, I think in future I am going to do my predictions a little bit close to the season.
Yeah.
Stoke have spent.
That doesn't obviously guarantee anything.
No, it doesn't guarantee success, no, but it's what Stoke have needed for a long, long time. A lot of people thought Stoke would have been one of those sides that went down, came back up, and then, you know, have 2 or 3 years, maybe drop again. But ever since they went down, they've never, ever looked like coming back up. No. This, for me, could be the year where it, again, could go right, could go wrong. But the investment
has been both bases, isn't it?
Well, definitely. I've got it, mate. I'm politician answers all the way. I mean, they've signed Ben Pearson from Bournemouth, who spent the second half of last season on loan there. They've got Wesley from Aston Villa, Michael Rose from Coventry, Ender Stevens from Sheffield United, Daniel Johnson on a free from Preston. They've signed a forward for £4 million as well. In Ryan Mamei from Ferencváros as well. Centre forward, he's only 25. But they have signed good young players that have been around Premier League teams. You know, let's not forget Chiquinho from Wolves, Mark Travers from Bournemouth, Kian Hoiver.
Somebody we've never heard of.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, though. These are players that you won't have heard of now, but come next season when you're looking at the stats, you probably think, who's this guy? Again, Stoke could be a surprise package, which is why I think being comfortable isn't a bad position for them. But I do think they will surprise a lot of teams this season and finish rather higher than what I've put them.
Indeed. So 18th, Nate's in. Good evening, Nate. How are you? Welcome along. Leicester. Yes, it was just one of those days. I was aching all over. And you know those days when I probably could have done it, but I just couldn't be arsed, if I'm honest with you. I'm up early in the mornings these days, you see. This is what it is. But my body's slowly getting back into the thing like, what are you doing up at this time? Well, I better go to sleep earlier at night then, but it's not quite working out. Anyway, thank you very much for that, Leicester. So that's it. That's 18th. I'm getting excited because I can't remember what order you've put them in. I thought you'd have put this one higher, but then again, in this team, anything can happen. Anything can happen in the next 5 minutes. You carry on talking. I'm back. I'm just going to look for a nut.
I'm not even going where I was going to go. To be honest, this Watford one, losing players like João Pedro to Brighton, their attacking intent of Ismail Assar as well to Galatasaray. I think it was Galatasaray. He's definitely gone to a foreign club. Marseille, sorry. He's gone to Marseille for 13 million. They've got some good money for players that they've sold on. Like I say, Ismail Assar, 13 million. João Pedro to Brighton was 34.2. And they've brought in Reece Healy from Toulouse on a free. Tom Ince on for 55k from Reading. Jake Livermore. These are players that, for me, stopgap signings for safety. And they're not signings you'd expect a team like Watford to be making. We'll see what comes of Watford. We all know what they're like. They're one of your favourite teams, Chris. We all know that in terms of the managerial merry-go-round. And how can any team have consistency when the fairground's going round and the manager's getting on and off? It's ridiculous. So no matter what squad you bring in, especially a bulk of new players, you've got to try and get them to perform. And if you're changing your tactics season in, season out, losing them two big players, a natural goal scorer in Pedro, Ismail Assar, I'm surprised he stayed with Watford as long as he did, to be honest. Watford, it looks bleak for them. I'll be honest, it looks very bleak for them.
I mean, when we spoke to, I'm sure you've met Pidge.
Pidge, great guy.
He scared the hell out of me when I first saw him, but he's actually all right. I suppose as a fan, when you're changing your manager as often as Watford are doing, but you keep coming back up to the Premier League, your fans are kind of saying, well, all right. But if they're doing that now and they've not come up for it, they didn't come up last season, so that was a bit of a break in it, then are the fans getting a bit pissed off with the Watford owners?
It wouldn't surprise me. I think they're of that calibre, aren't they, the owners of Watford, where they believe, success is. I don't know how to word it, to be honest. They seem to think that. I agree with Watford there, Dan, because you got. Yeah, brilliant. I'm surprised you actually agree with me because they're playing yellow. It must be that red away kit they had last season.
He likes a bit of red, doesn't he?
He does. He does.
Normally he said he likes a bit of pink, but I think it's a bit of red.
He tries his luck once a month.
Yeah.
See, this is why me and Chris don't usually get together again because it's definitely Tiswas on acid. Is this? It's not.
This isn't Tiswas. This is the spin-off show. Do you remember OTT? I mean, I go up to the line, Dan. You've just jumped over it.
I'll live for Christie. I jump. I'm going for it.
And you wish you had his lunchbox.
I'd rather have Rice Krispie than live for Christie. But no, like I say, Watford there needs to be some stability there. The Pozzos are a joke, an absolute joke. Not football people at all. Otherwise, they'll realise what they're doing to the club is ruining it. No wonder Elton John's retired from music. Maybe he's going to put his focus back into Watford and sorting them out. Otherwise, they will be saying goodbye to that yellow brick road on their way to League One.
And then they're not likely to still be standing at the end of next season, are they?
Definitely not.
I'm trying to think of some more Elton John songs.
Well, I don't know. I got a glowing reference.
Say so much, don't they?
I got a glowing reference from Elton John. He says, "Daniel, you're a star." So I've got to take that.
And Party.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Anyway, we're talking. Let's move on from Elton John. David Furnish has been trying to for years, allegedly. Have we finished with Watford?
We have.
That just about finished Watford off, didn't it?
Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, we killed them off big time.
We killed them off. I was just reading then, actually, Everton are supposed to be interested in Kelechi Iheanacho. Surely he wouldn't. Okay, so who?
Who's he been linked with?
Everton. Bloody Sean Dyche. Oh, here he is. I'm going to have to eat some more humble pie now. Doug is in. Doug, good evening, sir. I apologise profusely, sir, because my naughtiness unfortunately affected your channel as well. So please forgive me. I will.
I thought you were going to burst into song then. Please forgive me, don't let me go.
Sorry, but no, big apologies, Doug. I'm fucked on my channel as well. It's only because we've got this second channel I'm able to do this. So big apologies. That's what Doug's got. He's up to 18th with us now, and he's just gone 17th, Preston North End. They don't have much love in the garden in League One. Anthony, what did Dan do to be a star? That'd be telling, wouldn't it? That would be telling. And Nacho indeed. Yes. Okay, so that's who's at 16. Well, I'll tell you what, unfortunately, because I'm on a different channel, I have not got Gorinda's logo and rant linked, but I can probably do it very quickly. Rotherham, I think they're about our third game away. You've got them 16th. They were 19th last season, so you've actually got them improving.
I have, yeah. When you update your graphic, but yeah, it's.
Have I not?
No, it still says 17.
Because it's Rotherham, you see. I don't want to.
It's Gorinda messing with your.
It's Gorinda. Yeah, it's Gorinda.
But you know what? I like Rotherham. Fair shout to Rotherham. I do like what they do there. I think Matty Taylor, the manager.
I know what I like, and I like what I know.
But I think they're a solid mid-table club. Again, they could be one of them clubs that do, appalling with the teams around them. But it's they've made another. There's not a lot of clubs so far that have made signings of big money apart from, like, say, Stoke with the spending $4 million on a striker. They've mainly brought in free transfers. They've got Fred Onyedinma on loan from Luton. It could be a topsy-turvy season for Rotherham, but I do like them as a club, and I think I was probably put them more there on the fact that I rate them more than Watford, more than anything else.
That's probably one game away from home I will be able to get a ticket to, because Gorinda is not going to go to Rotherham away because she's elite.
I'm Premier League. I am elite. I am proper elite. No. I am Gorinda.
Yes. I wonder how much she'd had to drink. That is 16th. 15th, and I shall do my my graphic here. I used to love going, when I lived in Burnley, I used to love going to watch Leicester play Preston, usually because we won. But whenever Leicester played Preston, it was always kids for £1 games. And when you got 4 kids, that was a great saver. We used to drive along, park up, walk to the ground. Lovely little ground, nice people. But you've got them down from 12th to 15th, a faller this week in the charts.
Yeah. Ryan Law had his success as manager with Plymouth. I do not think he's going to have it with Preston North End. They've had their heyday of playoff hopes. They were close again in the first half of last season, but I think this time round, again, they've signed Dwayne Holmes from Huddersfield. They've signed Will Keane from Wigan. They've took on, I think, is it Calvin Ramsey on loan from Liverpool to get him some game time as well. And they're linked with getting a striker back that they had on loan from Everton last season as well. So it should be interesting. I just don't think Preston have the knack to go that one level further than they had back in the day when they had the likes of Graham Alexander, David Nugent, Chris Laquette, Ricardo Fuller, Richard Creswell. These players that were big, big names at the time that got them into respectable playoff positions. However, Preston have always had that knack of falling short of the order come the end of the season, and it's going to be another one of them again.
David Alexander, that name rings a bell. Alexander Graham Bell, never mind.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
You just totally ignoring it. Doug's got Bristol 15th. Preston, I think Paul Gallagher's finally retired from Preston North End.
Yeah, he has.
He was quite old when he was at Leicester. I mean, he must have been in his 50s. But I used to love his penalties. His penalties were some of the best I'd ever seen, and I was sorry to see him go. And I did a show with his wife actually, but no, that was on TVX. But no, I did a show with his wife about a charity she was doing a walk for. Very, very nice couple indeed, and I wish him all the best in whatever they do. Anthony's not impressed with Doug because Doug had Bristol City 15th. But when you're sponsored by the Wurzels, what do you expect? But they've been there for years, Preston. I mean, I remember years ago, before we got promoted, they used to, and I'm going back 9 seasons then. I don't know if they've been down and come back or they've just sort of hung around like a fart in a lift. But they were perennial just outside the playoffs for season after season.
The thing is, the majority of the season, they sat in the playoffs, pretty much cementing the position in that 5th or 6th role. And then it's like, last few games of the season, it's almost like, I think we're gonna have to chuck this, lads. And it just didn't seem to take them to that next level. They've not been in the Premier League since it's been the Premier League. But how close they've been every time, like I say, they just always seem to fall short. So yeah, Preston in 15th, I think isn't a bad position for them, to be honest.
Down 3 from last season, so I need some like Top of the Pops music, don't I? Now, this one, I must admit, I had to double check it when I was typing this one up because this is all about opinions. But I'm afraid, Dan,
your opinion is wrong
because you've got Plymouth in 14th.
Green Army!
Now, I know they stormed League One last season, but 14th, seriously, they've probably got the smallest budget of either team that's any of the 3 teams that have come up. I would have swapped, even allowing for the managerial problems, I'd have probably swapped them and Wednesday.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying. I think Plymouth will surprise a few people. Schumacher, the manager, has done really, really well since taking over after Ryan Lowe's departure. And I think they're only a few good signings away from making a good solid season. You see now as well, teams that get promoted seem to go on and do well. Another reason behind why I had Sheffield Wednesday so low is you could see how far they dropped off the second half of the season. They were poor. They had the top of the league wrapped up halfway through the season. What team goes up through the playoffs with 90-odd points? You very rarely see it. They threw it away, did Sheffield Wednesday. Plymouth stole a march. If they can keep that trajectory going, then that's the only reason why I put them higher than Sheffield Wednesday, because they had more bottle when it mattered the most. If Plymouth can, like I say, Plymouth keep it up and make 1 or 2 very good astute signings in key areas, then yeah, a good mid-table finish in the first season back is a well-respected finish for them.
So, and as you quite rightly say, the teams that come up can surprise you. I mean, how many times have we seen, like when Blackpool came up under Holloway, they were top of the league at one point, and they can, it can take so the established teams, if you like, a little by surprise. But no, good luck. To be honest with you, and I said to this, I love teams like Plymouth. I love the Luton story. I love the Bournemouth story. I still think of my team as not being, a big team, of being one of those smaller teams. And absolutely, I'd love to see them do well. I really would. So good luck to them. True said he would have swapped Plymouth with Hull City. Okay, so we're up to the halfway line, and who have you got on Evans? Still no Leicester. Still no Leicester to be seen. Anybody? Has anybody seen Leicester? Has anybody seen my Leicester? Number 13 in the charts. And yes, before you say anything, I know I've got the wrong badge. I'm sorry, Anthony. Please forgive me. I did update it, and then I forgot to update it on here. But you have got Plymouth so good, they did it twice. But you've got them at 13th as well. Bristol City, in fairness. And yet, so don't anybody say about the badge. I know. Okay. You watch Mike, Anthony. They'll all say it now.
Oh, of course they will. Of course they will. You know what? Bristol City surprised me. Obviously, I went down to Ashton Gate at the last away game of last season, and we played really. They played really well. They gave us a game. They were on the front foot for the majority of it. It's just whether, for me, and I think Anthony will probably agree. I think they need to move Pearson on and get a new manager to take Bristol City to the next level. Yeah, personally, I believe so. They signed Jason Knight from Derby for $2.5 million, which is a big chunk of money. Ross McCrory's come in for $2.3 million as well from Aberdeen. So they have spent, just under $5 million there. Rob Dickey from QPR, the signed centre back. They just need to. They need to obviously keep hold of Alex Scott in the midfield. He is key to that midfield, orchestrating that central area. A lot of Premier League teams are sniffing. You see the success of one good youngster, and that's it. They smell blood, don't they? So, if they can keep hold of him, especially till January, it gives Bristol City a very good chance of doing quite well. But for me, I believe they will. I believe he will leave before the end of the transfer window. In my opinion, I think he's. I think Alex Scott is too good of a player to sit and have another season in the Championship.
Yeah.
And then I think next season could be when Pearson bites the bullet.
So do you think Pearson will last the season?
Depending on how the season goes.
Your thoughts, Anthony. Let us know your thoughts. Sorry, Dan.
I think he'll last the season. I think he's deserved that at least, with what he's done with Bristol City, because he's been there for a handful of years now. But I think that at the end of this term, you'd be looking from a boardroom level, thinking, if we want to progress, we need to we can't just be happy with this mediocrity season in, season out, 13th, 14th. Let's at least try and upset the apple cart. Let's, at least put our fingertips in the playoffs, and let's try. So I'm glad Anthony said it there.
See if he gets bitten off by sharks or not.
Wow.
Be careful what you wish for, Anthony. That's all I'll say. See who you get. Can I just say, Mike and to Doug, I've just got this to say to you.
I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Yes, they did what we said they would do. Predictions are going to be in by Thursday, and you have still got time to do this. Where are we? I have got the details here. So it will follow Brad on Twitter or X, whatever it's called, Twitter these days, at Full-Time Focus on Twitter. So if you follow him on there, he will follow you back. Send your predictions to Brad by Thursday at 9 p.m. And don't forget, this is Championship predictions. This is not Premier League predictions, so Championship predictions. Send your predictions to Brad by Thursday at 9. Include all the games up to the following Friday. When I say all the games, again, league games. So don't include the Carabao Cup. We don't give a shit about that. Include all games up to the following Friday. So if there's a midweek game, you'll need to include that as well. Any predictions not in on time will not be included and will lose any points that week, or you just won't gain any points. You need to set out all predictions there, like Manchester City 2, Leeds United 1. Yes, I spelled that wrong as well. You must, if you just put 2-1, it will not.
You get points for correct spelling, Chris.
No, you don't. You don't. That's what I'm. But you must put either Man City or 2. LDS United, what you've got to let Brad know that which game you are predicting, because the order that you put them in might be on a different to the order that he is checking them on screen. So you must write down the team, otherwise it will just be scrapped. 3 points for correct score, 1 point for correct outcome. Any disputes arise, Brad's decision is final. And good luck with that, guys, because I had to actually tell Brad that he hadn't given himself an extra 3 points last season. So God knows.
Just to let you know, Chris, it's a good job you put that I in a Raz.
Look, I can't think about Bristol City all the time.
Not true.
And weekly updates will be live on the prediction show, which are going to be Fridays at 9 o'clock. Fridays at 9 o'clock. But it will just be Steve and Brad. So it will not be me. I will not be on that show anymore. Yes, I'll still be taking part, and I might pop up if Steve can't make it. But I am taking a very, very big step back from LTID. I'm literally going to be doing 3 shows maximum as a host a week. One is the Monday night debate show, and either 1 or 2 watch-alongs, depending how many we've got that season. I've got another project, as you all probably know, with the radio, which I've got to be honest with you, I'm enjoying so much more. And 3 hours a day in the morning on that. I want to get a life as well. So Brad's going to be taking over a lot of what I do, supported by Dave and Craig. So do give him your support, guys. The shows will still be as they are, but just with Brad hosting. And of course, thanks to foxy7clothing.co.uk, which is Steve Lynex's brand. The overall winner will receive one of each of the following: a cap, a beanie, a t-shirt, sweat top, and hoodie. We're having a look and see whether it might be better off giving, say, maybe 3, 2, 1 prizes for the first, second, third, but we will get back to you on that one. So, 9 o'clock on Thursday was the short answer to your question, Doug. But that was the longer answer to let you know all the information. So, I do believe I can fly. That is the bottom half of the table. And we'll be back to do the top half straight after this.
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
Oh, if you hear that on TalkSport, do let me know, because they've done individual jingles. That is obviously a TalkSport one that they allow us to use. But do give us a shout out if you ever actually hear it on TalkSport. I haven't yet myself. What bloody badge is that? A decent badge, rather than some bloody robin that only comes out at Christmas. We'll ask your wife about that, Anthony. Nigel Pearson, a bit like Tony Mowbray at Blackburn. Fortunately, I think he is still living off his great escape time at Leicester. I don't mind Chris. Had a conversation with Brad today, and very, very good. Go to the top of the class, Anthony. A gold star for Mr. Herbert there. Teacher's bloody pet. Everybody's pinching his saying, to be honest with you. Brad, great. Joking, brilliant. Okay, I know you're going to miss me. Thanks for saying it, guys. Okay, number 12. But then again, you miss Pales when they're gone. They're a pain in the arse as well. Bum bum. Bum bum. Oh, 2 for the price of 1 there. Go on, I crack you up. Well, it's 3. 3. Sorry. I'm going to stop being cheeky. 4. Okay, number 12. Number 12. The perennial up and down. A bit like Anthony on his birthday. Norwich City, you've got them sat in 12. They were 13th last season, so they go up 1.
Yeah. I think, Wagner, who's took over there, for me, started his tenure there really well. It was a very cracking end-to-end game against Coventry. But that said, again, they died off again last year. I think this time round he's going to want to put his own spin on things because he's got that, pre-season to be able to change things around. But the players he's signed, he's gone for players that are sort of that have been there, had spells in the Premier League, or trying to just bring a bit of experience to the club. They signed obviously Ashley Barnes on a free from us. He's 33 now. Signed Jack Stacey.
Ashley Barnes, bloody hell.
Oh yeah, Jack Stacey, who's 27. He came from Bournemouth on the free. Shane Duffy from Fulham, played for Fulham, Brighton, and had a loan spell at Burnley. Played for Blackburn as well, but we don't talk about that. But yeah, Norwich are one of them that they've got a good enough squad to be up the top end, but they just don't seem to gel. The likes of Josh Sargent, they brought all these players in that were decent. How are Norwich going to fare without Timu Pukki? Is Ashley Barnes going to fit in that Timu Pukki role? Because I think personally, when Barnes went to Norwich, I thought, that makes sense. Pukki's gone. Barnes is going to be that player that comes in, holds it up, brings Josh Sargent into play.
Josh Sargent.
Yeah. But yes, I just think for me, mid-table mediocrity for Norwich, a position higher. Again, they'll want the playoffs.
Who's in the hot seat there these days?
David Wagner, the former Huddersfield manager.
Yes, yeah. I rated him, but you never know. So that is number 12, or bottom of the top half. 11. Well, when I said I disagree with you,
your opinion is wrong.
Is one of those. There's not many, in fairness, and this is the second one I agree. I've got these as possible promotion candidates, but you've got them down in 11th, the North East boys.
Yeah, Sunderland, did really, really well last year to get to the playoffs, especially when their main striker was, injured for the majority of it. They had to bring in a young lad on loan from Leeds.
Had to bring. You never know. You froze.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, well, they brought a young lad in called Joe Geldar on loan from Leeds United last season. He didn't really hit the hearts that Ross Stewart did. That's Ross, not Rod. Completely different ball game altogether. But for me, Sunderland's an interesting one. A very interesting package. I think last season was potentially a fluke. I like Sunderland as a club. I've got no problem with the only North East club I've probably got a problem with is Borough. And I think that's just because a few years ago their fans were giving us a bit of crap. But it's whether they can work well. Tony Mowbray's brought in Bradley Dack on a free from Blackburn, and obviously being the former Blackburn manager, I think if you can keep Dack fit, that's going to be definitely a big, valuable player in the midfield for Sunderland as well. Jude Bellingham's younger brother, Joby Bellingham, he's joined Sunderland for 1.75 million this year as well from Birmingham. So whether he's going to make that big jump, I'm not saying he's going to end up like his brother. But at 17 years old, Sunderland have a knack of nurturing good young talent. And if Tony Mowbray can do that, then similar to what you just said there, it would not surprise me if they make that, promotion sort of area playoffs. But yeah, I just think last season was a fluke for me, and Sunderland just miss out.
Well, I am surprised, but you know the division. Like I say, I don't.
I know
But
nothing.
we do have some of this. Leicester City transfer target Joe Perro, it is being alleged, is set to stay at Swansea City this summer. The 23-year-old has been heavily linked with Leicester in the current transfer window, with Leeds United, Southampton and Atlanta also said to be interested in the Dutchman. But according to Wales Online, Pirro is expected to stay at Swansea, with their 15 million valuation of the striker considered a sticking point for any potential suitors. I've got to be honest with you. I would say break the bank and go and get him, because Daka doesn't look the business at the moment. Iheanacho cannot play as a lone striker, which I think Enzo wants. And you've got Vardy, who's, let's be honest with you, wasn't even in the squad today. He will appear, but he's 35, 36 now. He can't play a championship season. We need somebody like this with proven experience. For 15 million, good God, not being awful. We're not short of money. I'm surprised.
No, I'd say there's better out there for 15 million though. I think again, Joel Pirro had one good season, and that wasn't last season. It was the season prior.
No, he had 2 seasons when he got 20 plus.
Did he still get 20 plus last year?
Yeah.
See, that's the only problem with being, when we've been riding a success train, you're sort of not even looking over your shoulder at other teams. I'll hold my hand up there. But I think it took him, if I'm not mistaken, I think it took him a while before he found his shooting boots last season. So he is a good player. He is a good player. But then you see it. You'll get 15 million. You'd pay 15 million, and he could come to you and be absolute.
Of course he can.
So,
it's just
15 million pocket money in football these days. That's the only issue.
Yeah.
15 million is your new £1 million player.
Yeah. We let Lookman go because we couldn't afford 15 million.
Yeah.
We've let a lot of players go. We've let more players go than have come in. Either because we've sold them, as in Barnes. We've got 80 million. Now, for a team that's got relegated, to sell one player for 40 million is good, but to sell 2 players for nigh on 40 million, I think it's fucking amazing. So we've got that 80 million to spend. We haven't even touched the basis of that. And striker is, all right, it's not, we need wingers as well. But we need a striker, we do. It says, though, that Pirro's representatives are unhappy at Swansea's proposals on how to structure a potential deal, which could involve a dispute over agents' fees. Oh, don't upset the agents. Swansea could not accept a bid for Pirro, but it's unlikely to progress if they do not appease those who represent the striker. Pirro has a year left on his contract, has made it clear he will not sign an extension in South Wales. So they are in a huge gamble here on what can he get Swansea. I don't think you've come across them. We've not yet, have we? In your predictions, I don't think.
No, we haven't.
No. So will he be the one that could get them into the Premier League, and then maybe that will convince him to stay? That is a gamble. That's what we gambled with Tielemans, and you gamble. Sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. And I don't think that's a gamble that would work for Swansea. But, if I was the board, I like the guy, we need somebody in that division. Vardy says he's going. Daka, I'm just not sure about. Iheanacho isn't a one. He's more of a number 9, to be honest with you. He's turning into more of a number 9, and he can't play on his own up front. So I'd just say, look, 15 million, I'll give you 16. Let's get it done.
15 million is not bad for him when you think about the fact that Victor Gyökeres from Coventry's just gone to Sporting for like 20 odd million.
Yeah.
So, it's not a bad price, to be fair. It's just how well Leicester are willing to structure the deal. A lot of this isn't down to. I mean, you could even make up that 15 million, but how that deal is structured is going to be how this works.
And to be honest with you, we're not any good at structuring deals because that's why we still haven't got Steffi coming yet.
No,
mind you, she's since she gave up tennis, she's not been the best. I'm going to be honest with you. Anyway, that had to literally just come up, as the actress said to the Archbishop, or the other way around.
There's a lot of time left in the transfer market. Who knows? It could still become a Leicester player by the end of it.
Oh, he could. It's just annoying. I wanted to get as many. I think everybody wants to get as many in before we kick off. But hey, because I asked you that early, didn't I? But anyway, in 11th you've got Sunderland. So do, and we're into the top 10, folks. And at number 10, a brand new down one from 9. It's West Bromwich Albion.
Yeah, West Brom not even really entertained the transfer market this year. All they've done is brought in a loan signing from Brighton in Jeremy Sarmiento, a young 21-year-old attacking midfielder. Again, West Brom, they're boing around, season in, season out, up and down like a yo-yo. But this is the time where...
Yes.
But yeah, I think for West Brom, again, similar to Norwich, that they've not managed to, hit that gulf again. Like I said earlier at the start of the show, you can go down. Trying to get back out of the division is such is so
about.
it's so difficult to go. It's so difficult to get back promoted again. So I think that's another downfall for West Brom. And yeah, mid-table mediocrity.
Yeah. Oh, so 10th for West Brom. Where are Leicester? Because we're into single figures. And down 2 from number 7 to this week's number 9. It's the biggest team in East Lancashire. It's Blackburn Rovers. No playoff chance for them this season, Dan.
No, and again, this is one that I could have got drastically wrong. And I don't mean in a good way either. Off field, they are up shit creek without a paddle. They've gone on a pre-season tour. They went on a pre-season tour, and players were asked by the owners to purchase their own flights back because they had no money. That's saying something. Their own manager is very prepared to jump ship.
Yes.
The Venkis are saying, I'm sorry, but you're under contract. We've seen it before, how players do it and managers do it. They find these little loopholes. They've got their agents looking into the contracts and seeing if there's any way they can worm themselves out of it. It doesn't look good for Blackburn. I thought 9th would have been all right. Not bad for them. That's all hanging on whether Thomason stays. John Dahl Thomason did a good job at the start of last season, got them playing really well. It's all gone sour. But again, going back to what you said, Chris, it's about taking risks and a gamble. And what Blackburn did is they gambled on Brereton Diaz, getting them into the playoffs, potentially getting them promoted. That never happened. Dak's gone. Brereton Diaz, the fake Chilean, he's buggered off now. And they got nothing. Zilch. For 2 players that have done wonders for their club and probably helped them to, decent positions over the numerous championship seasons. So not getting a fee for Brereton Diaz while they could is going to bite them in the arse. And for me, this is one, like I say, I predicted these early. And I'm not just saying it because they're Burnley's rivals. I thought maybe they'd have a good season this season. But no, I could be horribly wrong. It does look very sour there.
Things can happen, as I know very well, when you're in the playoffs and they don't work out. We lost against Watford in that infamous Deeney moment. And the next season, we won at a canter, to be honest with you. I think we got 102 points. And if you don't get 102 points when you win the championship, then you're just not at the races. I've got to be honest with you. God, Give me what crumbs I've got here, Dan. Give me what crumbs I've got. When we were talking about managers, and we were going through those horrible moments of Parker and Gerrard being linked, I actually wanted two managers. I wanted the guy from Ipswich, whose name I can't remember, because he'd obviously done a good job in getting Ipswich up. Or I wanted Thomason from Blackburn Rovers, who'd done on. Let's be honest. See, I obviously, as you know, and I get people saying this, but I work at Blackburn, so I got a bit of a knowledge about them. And I think the worst thing they ever did was, well, not necessarily selling to the Venkies, but the Venkies got rid of the chief executive, who bit up his own arse, but my God, did he know what he was doing, and got rid of them, got rid of him, and, they got rid of Big Sam and, chicken farmers from bloody India. What do they know? And they've just made them a club.
They tried to appease the fans by bringing back, a former legend in Henningberg for them. Again, it went to pot. Then it went to Michael Appleton. Then Mark Hughes goes in, and it's just all gone. They're thinking more about making sure the fans have a better, we're doing this for the supporters.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure the supporters would rather see the club in a healthy financial position. They're not looking over their shoulders at us being in the Premier League. They're looking at themselves now. Don't get me wrong. When you're in the same division, you're looking at your rivals, but they don't have to look at us now. They've got to focus on the likes of playing Preston and yourselves and things this season.
When you take a new manager on, and we do with Enzo, it's obviously, and I'm doing a bit of a Michael Owen here. It's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to go, and if it doesn't, I'm going to be thinking, did we miss out on Thomason? And I think we did, but. He needs to know certain guarantees. All managers do. It's like in any job, you want to go in, you're going to get paid. You want to know what you're working with. I think, like you say, that could be wrong, but in the same reason as you're saying, that it could actually be disastrous for them. But hey ho.
I can see the tabloid headlines now. Rover and out.
Yes, I agree. Right, so 9th Millwall, says Anthony. He's got an early start in the morning, Terry. You and me both, mate. I'm up at 6 now for the breakfast show at 7 o'clock. Be sure to tune in, Terry. You've got an extra hour in bed with me. What more could a man want? And Doug said he had Blackburn 14th, lack of firepower. Okay, so we are up to 8th, and we are showing a climber this week, guys, up from 10 to 8. It's Swansea City, the aforementioned Perlo-loving Welsh huggers there. Evening, Mike. 8th, yeah, I don't really know of, and apart from Perlo, I know absolutely nothing about this team.
Yeah, I don't know if you know, Chris, but Joe Pirro scored, over 20 goals last season.
Well, I didn't think he did, to be honest with you. And I thought when he did start scoring that it was like midway through the season. But I could be wrong.
To be fair, they have brought in another striker as well. They signed Jerry Yates from Blackpool, who did really well for Blackpool, as bearing in mind their misfortune. Yeah. But they did spend just short of 3 million on him. I say 3 million, 2.8 million euros it's down as, for some strange reason. But yeah, I think Swansea are another team that could, if Pirro still is there, can really surprise a lot of people. Swansea, again, did really well last season. I think they were on like a 14-game unbeaten run. And then they played us at the Turf, and we beat them 4-0. Their manager even said it was the golfing class at the time. But I do believe they've got a good enough squad to be in and around that sort of area. Missing out just on the playoffs, again, I don't think it's a bad season for them. It's still a few positions better than last term. it should still be seen as progression. So yeah, Swansea in 8th, I think, isn't a bad place to have them.
No. And who have you got just missing out on the playoffs? Well, last season they were 8th, so they're only up 1. But you've got everybody's favourite team, Millwall.
They've been in and around it for a few years now.
Yes.
The last 2 or 3 years, they've been, doing a Preston, shall we say? They've been up there trying to get themselves in amongst, probably thinking there's already enough. There's not enough London clubs in the Premier League. Maybe we need another. So they're trying to throw their own name into the mix.
We've got Tottenham. I can't think of another London club. Tottenham. Because I mean they're the biggest because Maddison chose to go there, despite all the pictures of him wearing a red shirt, which must have been Southampton. Now I can only think of Tottenham.
No, but like I say, you've got loads. You've got the Chelsea, the Fulham, the Arsenal, Spurs, Brentford. They're all.
Oh, Brentford, yeah, of course. I knew there was another big London team in there. Couldn't think of who it was.
That's who you meant in red.
Yes, that's it.
But yeah, Millwall have done really well. Have done really well to get where they are, and I think it's going to be another season where they'll look to emulate what Coventry have done, what Luton have done as well. I mean, look at the job that Rob Edwards did with Luton. Can Millwall sort of go, well, we want a piece of that? You've managed it, and the story that you've got behind your meteoric rise. Why can't we create a story of little Millwall, going to the Premier League? So yes, strap yourselves in, folks, because we are now heading in to the top 6.
We're into the top 6, and we've got the old music back. It's been a while, but Dan's favourite music. Or if I remember Anthony's as well.
It's a bit loud. I think it's pretty much near enough over you, Chris.
Is it? Is that better?
Oh, that's more subtle to the ears.
Well, I needed you to hear it because I know you've not been allowed to watch Babe Station for a while, so I thought I'd bring this on.
I've not been able to watch it because I'm appearing on it.
Not that I know. Somebody told me that's what they did.
I like I say, I just keep telling that's me Ronaldinho, celebration. But
I thought that they did this. You can't do that. Who knew?
They do when they realise how big the phone bill is afterwards.
Oh, Anthony, 7-0. I'll take that. So we're in. I'm not allowed to play it on this one of my jobs because I'll get another slap. But into 6th place, and who have we got in 6th? Well, it's a new entry because they weren't in this division last season. But we're looking at Anthony's other team, Saints. You've got them just sneaking just into the playoff places. A lot of people have got Southampton as going up.
Not me. The demise of Southampton last season will have hit them hard. Signing Ryan Manning on a free, who was released, didn't sign a new contract with Swansea. I think that's a brilliant bit of business on that left-hand side. They've signed a keeper from... they did have a keeper on loan last season. He's no longer there. They signed Shea Charles, a Manchester City under-21s player, for £12.25 million. So around £10 million, really, because it's sort of like I say, it says it here in euros for strange reasons. But... again, a 19-year-old that's unproven, really. Southampton tried that last season. Look at them at the moment. They're in a battle with trying to keep hold of Romeo Lavia. Ward-Prowse is still wearing a Southampton shirt. And obviously, from a Burnley perspective, free Nathan Teller, you set of gits. You know, free the man. Let him come to a club that loves him. This is what I don't understand, right? And I know I'm going to maybe go on a bit of a tangent here about Nathan Teller, but this is a club that didn't rate him in the Premier League, said he's not good enough, sent him out on loan. He becomes a club legend within a season. And then now all of a sudden it's like, no, he's our player. We rate him. He's our star boy. I guess I'll piss off. No, I'm not having it. Every picture I've seen of him, he looks miserable. He don't want to be on the South Coast. He wants to be up here eating rats in a council house. Listen, let him enjoy it. Let him enjoy it.
Kitchen, what am I going to do?
But no, that said, Southampton, I think 6, a good finish for them. They'll find it tough. They'll find it tough to adapt. Southampton are lucky to still be in the Championship as well, because similar to Leeds, you know, they were two of them clubs that dropped down to League One because of how much spending power they've done, and it cost them. They've gone up. They're going to have to sell these players to make that big money back. So yeah, let's see how they spend their money wisely once these transfers have gone through to the clubs that the rumoured players are linked with.
Yeah. Still no Leicester City. Will we end up in the playoffs? Will we be facing another Norwich or another savage shin day out at Wembley? Well, that was number 6. At number 5, it's another new entry. And this one, I said, there's usually a team that comes up that surprises. And you've gone for Ipswich Town being that team, and you've got them in 5th, the best of the 3 promoted teams.
Yeah, Ipswich, for me, the way they played last season, when we played them in the Cup, you know, they took us to a replay back at Turf Moor, and yes, we did beat them. But at Portman Road, they were phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely way above League One quality. And I'm not just saying that because of the way they played against us. I've seen a few games on telly with them as well in League One. I just like everything they're doing at Portman Road. I'm not saying that they're going to win the playoffs. I don't think they will out of the teams that I've put in there. But I believe being in a fifth position, after coming straight back up, their fans would snap your hand off now. So, yeah, I think Ipswich, again, another team that had their heyday of the Premier League, you know, with the likes of Darren Bent and players like that playing for them. When I think was the sponsor, I think owned by Marcus Evans at the time or something like that. Ipswich are a good little club, and I believe that the good times will come back to Ipswich again. And out of the 3 promoted sides, I think Ipswich are the ones with the more favourable chance of being up and about it with back-to-back.
I like Ipswich. I can remember Ipswich when under the Bobby Robson. It's a great side into Europe. A couple of Dutch players in there. I've got a lot of time for Ipswich. Even though I did go on one of their shows about a week ago thinking it was Blackburn Rovers. But that's a number 5. So, who is at number 4? Is this going to be Leicester, I wonder? Well, at number 4, last season's beaten playoff finalists, you've got the Coventry City.
I have gone for Coventry City again. They've done quite a bit of business in this window. They have spent best part of around 5 million of the money from Victor Gyökeres on bringing Ellis Sims to the club from Everton. Like I say, he's actually been on fire in pre-season as well for them. He's done really well so far. They signed Bobby Thomas from us as well. The thing is with Coventry and Mark Robbins, and I know you probably won't like hearing it with them being a rival to Leicester City, but Mark Robbins always seems to get a tune out of the young players that he's got at his disposal.
Yeah.
I mean, he signed Joe Latibaudier on a free from Swansea. The signings that they've made are all still within their mid to early 20s. So there's still a lot of, nurturing. If they can keep hold of Gustavo Hamer in the midfield, I know we're linked with him heavily, but they keep hold of these sort of players, and they'll be back in and around it. And it's not just that. the demise of losing a playoffs can sometimes spur you on to go, well, look, we've had the negativity of it. Let's make sure that we get the job done next time.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it did it with Watford with us.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah. No. You're not far off. Nate says here, after you're done, could you give your thoughts on a team from the top 6 of your predictions that could potentially have a bad season and a team from the bottom that could actually surprise good season? I'll start that and maybe we will come back to that, depending on how we're doing for time, Nate. I know Dan's on a promise, so...
Yeah. What? Promise of another brew?
Hey, at my age, I'd take that, mate. Fourth is Sunderland, the playoff winner, says Doug, and here we go. I'm surprised it's taking you so long, Doug. I haven't seen that new film, The Tractor, yet, but I've seen the trailer.
Hey.
God. But no, I've got to say a big thank you to Dan, because we were supposed to be doing this on Wednesday, but I'm off to see my family, my son. The last time I'll see him as a single man, because next time I see him, we'll be walking down the aisle and getting married. So I did have a chat. I went into his room the other week, and I said, look, remember, son, I said, masturbating will make you go blind. I'm over here, Dad, he said. Anyway. It's after the watershed. I can get away with that. And the thing is, this channel's not monetarised yet either.
No. Welcome to LTID TV Channel 3.
No, Channel 5 with that. Mike says Coventry 16th think they'll struggle. And Anthony says I had Leicester at 4th. Middlesbrough 3rd, Leeds 2nd, Southampton 1st. Ooh.
I wonder why he had Southampton first, Chris.
I wonder on that. I wonder as well, you know. But the worst of it was, having left my son's room, I then walked in on my grandmother. She was sucking my granddad's dick. I just thought, well, why the hell couldn't they just cremate him with the rest of him?
The TalkSport Fan Network is the ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts,
including Leicester Till I Die, independent analysis and reaction for the Foxes faithful.
The TalkSport Fan Network.
Unbeatable club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Follow the podcast on the TalkSport Fan Network.
You like that one? Everybody will be telling that one later. That's the vision you got in your head now, isn't it? Get rid of. So, sorry, I love that joke. It was hard to say. It was a bit of a mouthful. Anyway, let's move on into the top 3. Are Leicester going to be the 3rd team in the playoffs, or are they going to go? Is Dan got them for automatic promotion? Well, in 3rd place and a new entry because they weren't here last season, Leeds United. You've got them as 3rd.
Yeah. Again, I think Leeds are going to become one of the new teams to sort of yo-yo a little bit. Again, depends on signings. I think they signed Carl Darlow from Newcastle over the last few days. I think it might have even been earlier this morning. It was confirmed, around 400k. To be honest, and they signed Ethan Ampadu from Chelsea, a defender who's still only 22.
I'm a child, I know, but I love that name.
Ethan Ampadu.
Ampadu-doo-doo. Do-do-do-da-da-da.
But, you know, he was on loan at Sheffield United the last time they was in the Premier League. So, again, he's one of them players that Chelsea have probably had on the books for years and needs a move away than just being some loan man at Chelsea with the many loan players they hand out. I think Leeds do need to replace some of the players they've lost. They've lost the bulk of their defence. Like I think Diego Llorente has gone to Roma, or he's gone to some foreign club anyway. And there is a Leeds player who has joined Roma. But yeah, Leeds is just one of them clubs that they'll sort of fire. The fans getting behind them as well. Ellen Road, we all know it's a very loud place on a match day. And I think they'll be in and around it. Like I say, for me, Leeds will be the new yo-yo club between the Championship and the Prem.
Really? Do you think... All right, let's have a look at the four that you've got there then. In the playoffs, Leeds, Coventry, Ipswich and Southampton. If you had to pick one to go up as the playoff winners?
So it's usually third against sixth and fourth against fifth, isn't it?
It is. So Leeds, Ipswich, Coventry, Southampton.
You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if it's a Leeds Coventry final, and Leeds beat Coventry. I'd say Leeds go up. Like I said, for me, I think they're the team that sort of yo-yos. But I would like somebody new. I would if I had to pick. Like I say, I'd take Ipswich hands down. I'd rather somebody new come up, a back-to-back, give them a chance. Another story like Blackpool, sort of speak, or Huddersfield.
Ipswich have been in the Premier League, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have.
No, you're quite right. Even possibly Coventry.
Yeah.
But there we go. So. There we go. Leeds, Coventry, Ipswich, Southampton, third down to sixth in Dan's eyes, with Leeds taking a playoff final win over Coventry. So, two teams are left, and we've not had the mighty Leicester yet. Are Leicester going to be second, or are Leicester going to be first? Well, second, I'm going to be honest with you. I would take second. I don't care how we go up, as long as we go up. As in, I'd sooner obviously make first or second rather than through the playoffs, because they can go either way, we know that. But who have you got in second place? Are you ready? I would blow a trumpet, but I've got my window shut, so I'd have to live with it. It's horrible smell. But Middlesbrough, you have got Middlesbrough second. Now, we know what that means, but we'll come on to that in a second. But Middlesbrough second.
Yeah, I think the job that Michael Carrick did last season, out of this world, to turn Borough from looking like relegation candidates under Chris Wilder into, a team that was chasing Sheffield United at one point, looked like they could even overtake them.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the jobs that Paul Heckingbottom at Sheffield United and Vincent Kompany had done at Burnley, even Rob Edwards at Luton, Mark Robbins and Michael Carrick would have been the other two names, well up there for Manager of the Year. So I believe if Michael Carrick can get them going again, which I think he can, a lot of captains, when they go into management, they don't lose that leadership. They know they've got to try and help the teammates over the line when they're a player. So now that they're a manager, they've got to have that man management, element with the leadership as well. So if you can manage both with a nice balance of 50-50, you're going to have a very healthy squad that would run through brick walls for you. And I think Borough will get that under Carrick. So second spot and another promotion for Steve Gibson's Middlesbrough. I think they'll be all right.
Haven't they, when you think?
Yeah, they have. I mean, they used to be, again, they've had their days in there with the likes of, Mendieta, Giannini. Yeah, Ravanelli. They've had some fantastic players.
I do know where Giannino is. He's still in Pontus Kamark's back pocket.
But they've had a very good Premier League history, and I think they'll obviously go back up again. But let's see. Like I say, second, I think is a very good position for Borough.
Yes, yeah, and I mean, looking at last season's table, I mean, you were on 101 points. I mean, anybody can do 101. You only done it when you get 102 points, mate. Then you can grow. Sheffield United 91. You were
don't count what you wish for. Remember, Owen Coyle said Bolton were 10 years ahead of Burnley, and we're coming up 10 years now. I mean,
Luton Town though 11 points behind Sheffield United. And 16 points behind them were Middlesbrough. So it was a huge gap.
Yeah, they were. But I think at the time, Sheffield United, went on a bit of a downward spiral. And, they had a few games where they just couldn't buy a win. Borough then started winning, and they looked very close to stealing Sheffield United's thunder in second spot. It's only, as we know with the Championship, that's one thing that I'm going to miss about it, that it's such a hard league that you can't just go into a game thinking that, we'll piss this, we'll get the win, it's right. Every single game is going to take grit, determination, hard work, sweat on the shirt. You are literally going to be involved in a brawl for 90 minutes. And that's what I like about the Championship. It's still got that authenticity of real football.
Well, yeah, we will see, but straight in with a bullet at number one, a brand new entry. Straight in at number one, not unlike Slade all those years ago, and I had to make sure I got the right group there. But number one, it's the mighty Foxes. You've got us down as first. Now, before you go into this and say you've changed your mind and, I'm going what you sent me, mate, whether you changed your mind or not. Look, I got asked this the other day, and I said for Leicester, and I said this at the start, didn't I? If we don't get promoted this season, I'm not going to cry, because hopefully we would then be better and stronger to come up next season to, got better and not be, like I said before, a Norwich or a Watford, which could happen. For me, the minimum I'm looking for is probably 8th. Anything below 8th, I would be disappointed, and maybe we need to look whether Enzo's the man.
I want to say it's funny you say that, because I said I put Burnley to finish 8th, last season.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd have took anything more than that. But
just missing out on the playoffs if it's quite close. Playoffs, I would take. Top 2 I would love, and I'm not particularly bothered at this part of the season where it is. If we're in your position, and I don't think we will be, but if we're in your position and then we throw it away, that'd be disappointing. But I think it's very disrespectful to, like I say, the other 20 teams, if you like, 21 teams that are in that division, to say that all 3 of us that have come down are going to go straight back up again. I think it is disrespectful to them. I can see why they've put us first, and my worry is that we are the team, and no disrespect to Leeds, no disrespect to Southampton, we are the team that people want to get to beat, because we're the ones that are coming down as ex-Premier League champions, ex-FA Cup winners, ex-Community Shield / Super Cup winners, we got to a semi-final of a European Cup competition. We've been in all. Somebody pointed this out to me before, and I hadn't thought about it. We've been in every single European competition that there's been in the Premier League.
Don't forget the English Super Cup.
Now, I did say that, Community Shield / Super Cup.
I switched off when you started rhyming them all off.
But we have actually been in all 3 European UEFA competitions. We are the big scout for teams to come for, and I don't mean to say I'm not dissing Southampton or Leeds, but if I said to you as a Burnley, who would you want to beat if you were still down there? Most, I reckon you'd probably say Leicester. But
Well, I'd probably say Blackburn, but
forgetting Blackburn. I mean, I meant out of the three that come down, you walk.
Yeah. I mean, if Blackburn weren't in the equation and you had to dangle me a carrot, you'd obviously say out of the. I mean, I don't know. Everybody wants to beat Leeds. That's obvious. It's Leeds. Who doesn't want to get one over on Leeds? Nobody likes them. But like you said, the history behind Leicester, it's a case of, we have beat Leicester. So, like Anthony says there, fingers crossed you can emulate that.
I mean, like I said at the start, I think if you've not helped us by having the season you've had, because the comparisons are coming thick and fast, and I think that's dangerous. But you've got us as first. Why?
I just believe that fortune favours the brave, and with Leicester, there has been, recent turmoil within the club. For me personally, looking from the outside, I thought Top was defending a mate in Brendan Rodgers, and Katey kept him there longer than he should have. For me, I think it was a case of there was like that, and neither of them wanted to disappoint each other.
I think Brendan had totally fallen out of love with the job. I think they weren't speaking because obviously, I mean, this is the problem when you try and stick by the rules, which is what Top did. Because had he gone out and spent, and don't forget the 2 previous seasons we had been in the Europa League, and that's what he was hoping for again. But had that happened and we'd gone out and bought the players, we'd have been absolutely done by FFP in UEFA, which is tougher than the Premier League one. Yeah. So we stuck by the rules. That's why we didn't buy anybody. But Top wasn't telling Brendan. Top wasn't telling the fans. And of course, you stick by the rules, and that's what happened. And then Brendan, Top felt guilty because he hadn't supplied the funds to Brendan. It was like literally it was the perfect storm of a season. But yes, and I think the fact that we have gone out, I think we've nailed our colours to the mast very. Even with the signings we've made, I was actually at a barbecue and I said, I've got to go. And I said, why? I said, I've got to go and do a show. We've just signed Connor Cody and Winks from Harry Winks from Tottenham. And he went, and I sat with a Man United fan, my brother-in-law, he went, fuck off, you haven't. We have. You got an 18 months ago an England centre-back.
Yeah.
Harry Winks, who, Sampdoria are okay, but they're a Sarria team, Pochettino was very, complimentary of him. I know a lot of Tottenham managers were, but then there wasn't many saying Tottenham managers could work there long enough to form an opinion. Most of them.
There is that.
Yeah. So I think we are going for it, but we've still got.
I think you're well equipped to. You are very well equipped to. And the players that you do lose, you're going to lose them, like I say, for good amounts of money. Maddison, Barnes, two big names. Again, I can go back to the Burnley sort of thing. We went down. We lost key players that have been, stalwarts for the club. Absolute stalwarts for the club. Who's we when Anthony comes up with something, by the way? I mean, narrow the team down, Anthony. We don't know what we means. Is WE short for Weymouth? I mean, I don't have a bloody clue these days with you.
They play in claret and blue, believe it or not.
Right. Well, I'll have to check on Western Supermare then, because it's down that area, isn't it? So, to be honest, I just think... I do think that Leicester need to just use the money wisely. You've got to think during COVID as well, with Top's business is in, travel and stuff, and with COVID...
He's now actually almost doubled his wealth,
Well, that's what I mean. But then you've got to still be careful with that.
Yes, of course.
You still got to, in all financial decisions, there's risk. And with football, we all know it's... a risk or reward business, depending on how it works on the pitch.
Yeah,
we can all throw money at it and hope it works. Again, I alluded to that with QPR earlier. But now, Leicester just need to get it right. Get the fundamentals right. Go back to what worked If Enzo can come in and put his own stamp on it, I'm not saying that he's going to play that exact same tiki-taka Pep stuff, but clearly he's going to try and implement some of those beliefs in, let's not look back, let's try getting forward, let's possession-based, playing it out from the back, being quite strong and resilient on the ball. You're going to have a season of adaptation. Like I say, we didn't expect the jump that we did. It's just, I believe Leicester do have the right calibers of players to finish as champions.
I keep thinking you're going to burst into song. I believe I can fly. Luke says, what I think disrespectful.
I believe that Leicester are the future.
Oh, God, I know what was worse, that thought, or you singing. What I think is disrespectful, says Luke, is the parachute payment because it hands out the relegated team advantages. The thing is, I was going to say that we don't get parachute payments this season.
Yeah.
What we get this season is the money we earned for finishing 18th. Now, all right, that's 100 odd million, but we get that because we finished 18th because we were in the Premier League. Our parachute payments, if we don't go, so if we go up, like Burnley, as far as I understand it, are not getting parachute payments because they came straight back up. Look, you're going to have to get used to it because you're coming back down next season yourself.
And the thing is, though, it's not even. This is the thing that pisses me off about people. Parachute payments, this PSG of the Championship, etc. To quote Rene, it's the thing that gets me.
Your friend
is that all these other clubs say these things, and it's them that can benefit. Because if we go straight back up, it's them that get that money, not us. Them. If anything, us being on another success train and going straight back up gives you more financial power, not us. We'll get financial power from TV rights, etc. We get that. But then yet again, with the way football is nowadays and there's championship games on our follow and stuff like that, there's money to be made on TV rights in other leagues.
Yeah.
I do believe that parachute payments could be scrapped. I think it should be scrapped, personally.
I think it is scrapped, and I think it's a very, very valid point. I think we'd see a lot of teams in financial trouble because they gamble everything to try and stay up. It is unfair, totally, but in a way, the Championship teams are benefiting because Burnley have gone up, so you haven't got a team that's just going out and spend because they've got the money. Because if parachute payment to work properly, it needs to be a level playing field. When it comes to dishing the money out, just because a certain so say like obviously we've come up, so the likes of Borough, Coventry that did well last season will probably receive that little bit more coin from the parachute payments than other teams around them. I think there needs to be all clubs get the same. Because it's not fair. I believe is not fair. Why were parachute payments introduced in the first place? Now, I could be wrong here. I know it's unlikely, but I could be wrong. But if I remember, there was talk around the time of the Premier League starting out that it would be a closed shop, that you would not get relegation or promotion. So if you weren't in there, that was it. You weren't going to be in. And to literally agree to that, I think that's why, and I say, I'm not saying it's definitely why, but that would make sense, because they say, I know they were talking about, well, yeah, if we're doing this, but then we don't want to go down and not be in this sort of golden, city that is the Premier League. I think it's wrong, but it's not going to come in this season anyway. And then, let's be honest with you. Again, Leicester are going to be featured. Our first game of the season already happens to be Coventry. But our first game, I think whoever we played was going to be on the TV because we are ex-Premier League. We're only the second team that has won the Premier League to get relegated. Blackburn did it. We've done it. And they're going to be looking, like I say, we're going to be the team that everybody's going to be after. If Leeds United are sat in 5th, then Sky aren't going to be given a bloody toss, to be honest with you. Leicester City.
I don't know. You know what? You only have to look at the TV remote. That is a Leeds season ticket, isn't it?
Leicester City being sat in 5th or 6th.
Oh, yeah.
Because of expectations, and they expect us to, and I say, because of what we've done, we're going to be on telly a lot, so we're going to get that money. So, yeah, I agree. I agree with you. But look, there's the league table in your eyes. Cardiff City, Sheffield Wednesday, QPR to go down. Playoffs, Southampton, Ipswich, Coventry with Leeds, with probably Leeds winning that, and Middlesbrough and the biggest team in the East Midlands going straight back up again. Now, if you got time and you don't need to rush off, I'm just concerned.
No.
Do if you do. I just want to go back to Nate's question here. Okay, let's go for the bottom one first of all, because it's always best to go for the bottom first, isn't it, Dan? Who could potentially have a good season, is what he's saying, from the bottom. Now, let's say the bottom. Shall we say the bottom 6, shall we say? So Huddersfield, Birmingham, Hull, QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Cardiff City. Those are the bottom 6 that we've got there. So out of those 6, a surprise team that will not be in the bottom 6, I guess, is what Nate's saying, if I've got it right.
Yeah, I was going to say Stoke, but they're just out of it, so I'll go with Birmingham.
I think somebody said earlier Birmingham always seem to pull out the results just when they need to.
Yeah. Again, the investment of Birmingham could be a big thing for them as well. They've just got to get it right and hope that everything, the pieces of the puzzle that they're bringing in fits.
Yeah. I'm gonna differ. I'm gonna disagree with you. That's just the sort of guy I am.
I was going to say, don't change the habit of a laugh.
No. Cheers, Doug. Well done, mate. Well done. Send the predictions over. Well done. I'm actually going to go Sheffield Wednesday.
I can understand why. I
have a feeling they may just. That's still at the back of the mind. That adrenaline rush that you get from what happened in the playoffs for them. Yeah, I think Sheffield Wednesday, just the size of the club, they could be the one. QPR, I think, are in dire straits, like you say. I think Birmingham, for me, we're just always down there. I think, that they will be again this season. So, yeah, for me, Sheffield Wednesday. For you, did you say Birmingham?
Yeah, Birmingham, yeah.
You should. Are you doing the prediction league, Dan? You should do.
Well, it depends, obviously, on my job.
You might actually win for once because you know the teams.
Well, I don't know. I did shocking last season, but
well, am I not surprised? Did Kate win again?
No, Anthony did.
Did he? Wow. He's an Arsenal fan. He's not used to winning, so he'll take that.
Yeah, of course he will. Oh, it won't last long. He'll bottle it.
Okay, from the top 6, which are Southampton, Ipswich, Coventry, Leeds, Middlesbrough, or Leicester, which one of those? Well, first of all, let's go on one that you really do think might have a disastrous season.
I mean, if you were going to go obvious, you'd probably say Ipswich because I've put them. But I'm not. I'm going to say Coventry.
Really? Wow.
I'm going to say Coventry. I think if they lose, they've already lost Doyle to yourselves, who they had on loan last season from City.
Oh, sorry, Coventry.
So, you've already stole a player off them there. And obviously, if Hamer goes, that's a big loss in midfield as well. So, I think Coventry could be one of those where it could go tits up depending on what happens.
Wow. Well, I am going to disagree with you again. Who knew, eh? I'm actually going to go Southampton. I think if one of the teams could potentially fall and then fall again, I think it is going to be Southampton. I really, really do. I don't think, Off the pitch, I don't think they're being particularly well run at the moment. But I'm gonna surprise you, because I'm gonna go for Coventry, but for Southampton. But I am actually going to have a bit of a second choice of a team that may not do well, and I'm going to say Leicester City, because there's a lot of unknowns. Sorry.
Very interesting.
Yeah, because there's a lot of unknowns in there. Enzo, he excites me, don't get me wrong. And the way he had us playing for that first 20 minutes is like, seriously? Who are these teams? He's got Ndidi playing like the best midfielder since Jordan Henderson. It was like, who is this Ndidi? We recently signed his cousin or somebody. So, yes, but then we saw the old Leicester coming back, 3 goals in 18 minutes, and the game's over, which was a little bit worrying. And yes, is the tippy-tappy football that he might be playing? It's all right, it looks good, and we looked good for 20 minutes, but the same problems came back to haunt us. Our defence and the fact that we couldn't put goals. We should have had 2 goals before they scored. Neither did we. That's why I want Pero in one end, and we've got Cody to come back. He's still injured, which is typical of Leicester. So yeah, I'm going to stick possibly a Leicester in there as well.
Good shout. Very good shout, mate.
There we go. So Nate, I hope if you're still with us, because I know it's different hours over there in La 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 America. But I hope you are La 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 Land. Dan, thank you so very much for that, mate.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
And I do appreciate the fact that you put Leicester top. And if you go and just check through your letterbox now, there should be a brown envelope full of dung. God, you said bung, didn't you? Sorry.
Yes.
Yes. God, I've got it wrong again. Damn. Sorry.
Oh, you and the goddamn spelling mistakes, Chris. No, I appreciate you having me on. Thank you very much. And like I say, good luck to every team in the Championship next season, but particularly Leicester. Like I say, me and you have grown a really strong friendship for 2 blokes, opposite ends of the age spectrum. I know, mate, I've got my legs crossed under here, so I'm just making it look realistic at least, you bastard.
That's because of what's growing in there when you talk about me. I think you were there before. I had a stalker before, but you can never tell on camera because it's always below the boom.
To be fair, mate, honestly, I believe Leicester will be all right, no matter what. Anyway, and like you said, if you're going off your prediction of 8 or anything, but yeah, I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine. And Nate, take care, mate.
Yeah, no, do appreciate that. Look, good luck back in the Premier League. I know I was sort of. I suppose it's because I noticed your reaction when you went down wasn't quite as bad as my reaction. I didn't, but then again, I suppose you see, I've been there, seen it, got the T-shirt so many times. I'm twice your age, for God's sake, So I'd been there, and I was expecting it. Do you know what I mean? We'd just been expecting it all season.
Well, mate, you're old enough to be my granddad's granddad, so it's.
Fuck off. No, I can remember feeling this way, and it wasn't. No disrespect, it wasn't tears, it wasn't anger, it was just, we've been expecting. And when we went down to League One, we'd been hovering around there for 3 or 4 seasons. And it was almost like, and I think it's the best thing that could have happened to Burnley to go down, and I think it's the best thing that could have happened to Leicester, because we will have that rebuild. Had we not gone down, how many of those players... We'd have probably still sold Barnes and Maddison because people, they're after them anyway. But we got rid of all the players that were out of contract. It was quite right not to give them extended contracts. We couldn't go into the Premier League season the way we are now. We'd have had to have tried to keep some of those players. So some players may not have wanted to move on because we were still in the Premier League. So it is a clean slate. which is very, very good. A bit like that time I got a job as a roofer. And the boss caught me masturbating on the roof. He said, it's all right, you can wipe the slate clean.
Jokes. So many masturbating jokes tonight. It's unreal.
Yeah, well, like I said, he told me I could wipe the slate clean, so there we go. But, yes, I don't know why you bring the masturbating jokes out.
Mate, just get them out the system now. You've got a 3-hour radio show tomorrow.
I know, and I'm not going to swear again on it. Stay tuned, I'll tell you about that. But, no, thanks so much for coming on, mate. Good luck in the Premier League next season, mate.
Cheers, and thanks everyone for watching as well. Appreciate it. Keep showing Chris your support.
Tell everybody where you are.
I'm here, right here. But yeah, no, I'll be over on TurfMoorhouse TV. Obviously, trying to do some Premier League content, etc. Obviously, you know, the balance of work life, family life, and stuff like that. It's going to be shook up a little bit this year, but I'm going to still try and give you guys the best content I possibly can from my side of things. And like I say, if it wasn't for people like Chris here, who sort of got me into this game a little bit by having the confidence to sit behind a camera and chat shit about football without a beer in my hand, then yeah, you know, I appreciate it. So thank you again, Chris, for all your support. And yeah, guys, just keep supporting Chris, because I don't want him to give up this YouTube stuff either. The radio stuff I know he's big on, but he's also great at what he does from giving you guys a Leicester perspective. So keep supporting Chris, please, as well.
You are a gentleman, sir. You are a gentleman. Dan's link is in the description below, so on YouTube. So make sure to click it. We're on a different channel because I was naughty on the main channel, so I am on the. I am on channel B, LTID TV 2, and I will be for the following week, which is Monday night show, Thursday night show, and Friday night show. But look, you can still see me, which I'm sure you're thinking, God, I wish I couldn't. Dan, I'll speak to you in a minute, mate. Stay online.
No worries, pal. Take care, everyone.
Thanks very much for your help on that one. Cheers, buddy.
Thanks a lot. Take care, everyone.
And good luck in the Premier League. God, that hurt. Oh! Cheers, mate. Goodbye.
Cheers.
They'll be all right. They'll be all right. I think there's certainly 3 worse teams than Burnley in that Premier League. Surely Everton have got to come down this season. But he's nodding away. But yeah, just a couple of coming up Monday night, tomorrow night. We have got the Let's Talk Leicester show, the debate show. It's coming up, and we will be live at 8 o'clock on this channel. The link will be in the normal places. Please do get over and check it out. And you know what? We're going to be talking Liverpool, Coventry, and the Championship coming up. Then on Tuesday, let's have a look what we've got coming up. I'm not coming up on. Where are we? We're in August, aren't we? I'm on a Coventry City one next week, tomorrow on Tuesday. And we're back on Thursday with the preview against Coventry. That will be being hosted by Brad, and the prediction show on Friday. If you want to be in the prediction show, get your predictions over to @FullTimeFocus. Follow him and get your predictions over by 9 o'clock Thursday night, or you will have missed the cut-off. So thanks very much to Dan. And don't forget, if you do want a bit of a laugh in the morning and you don't like Radio 1 or Radio 2, surreyhillsradio.co.uk from 7 till 10. And you've got me to take you through those first 3 hours in the morning. surreyhillsradio.co.uk. This music is doing my head in. There we go. God, I forgot. I don't miss that, I'll tell you. But thanks so very much to everybody that joined in. Doug, my apologies again to you, sir. And I will see you all tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on this channel with the Let's Talk Leicester. Take care. I will see you then. Goodbye now.
These videos are so dreamy. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification bell.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network.
TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.